Here we go. This is question number 12. And the difference between question number 12 and the waffle question is just that we have a percentage here. And the reason I brought up the waffle questions earlier, is because that they are actually very similar. And waffle is something that's more concrete because that's something that you can imagine or you can actually eat, right? But compared to this question, we have percentages and the situation is just something that we don't usually deal with, right? This situation is just something that we don't normally deal with. So it's a much harder, it's a much difficult question. But the idea is the same as the waffle question. Okay, here we go. So just read the question, but I will pick up the most important information throughout my explanation right here. So we have a graduating class, right? So let me write this as my entire graduating class. So again, I will draw a picture. Whenever we're dealing with percentage, we can always draw a picture and then just cut into some pieces, and we can say this is about some percent. Okay, and then it says that 75% of the graduating class had taken at least 8 math courses. So this divides us into 75%. Let's say this is the 75%, right? And what do they do have this? What do they have right here? 75%. These people, let me do like this. So 75% of the students right here. So this is my 75%. They took at least 8 math courses. They took at least 8 math courses. 8 math courses. And then right here, right, again, this will be the remaining portion. So this is the remaining portion. So let me just remaining portion. If this is 75%, the whole thing add up to 100%. So you must have 25% right here, right? So the remaining is only 25%. So let me make a note. This is 100% minus 75%, which is 25%. Okay, so the remaining students, of course, this is at least, should I put the word at least, 8 math classes. So this percentage of students, they took less than 8 math classes, right? This 25% of the students, they took less than 8 math classes. Okay, so of the remaining right here, and as we can see that it says, of the remaining class members, 60%, so 60% of these people, of these students, they had taken either 6 or 7 math classes. So I'm going to divide this into 60%, okay? So let me draw the 60% that is about right here. So notice this is 60% of this part, of this quarter pieces, right? So again, I'm going to divide into 2 pieces, 2 parts, technically. So these people, 60% of these people right here, he says they take 6 or 7 math courses. So these people, let me write it down, 6 or 7 math courses. And what percentage of these people is compared to what percentage of the students actually took just 6 or 7 math courses? It's not 60%, right? This is actually 60% of the 25%, right? Because it's only saying 60% of the 25% of the remaining students, of the 25%. So this percentage of the students, they took either 6 or 7 math classes. However, this is not what we're trying to find. Let's read the question one more time. He asks us what percent of the graduating class they had taken fewer than 6 math courses. So I got 6 or 7, I got more than 8, and actually this part it's less than 6, right? This part is less than 6, and you can forget about everything for a minute. If this is 60%, how big would be that? Again, this part will add up to 100% on its own, right? So this is 60% already. That has to be 40%. This little piece right here has to be 40%. So this right here is because 100% minus the 60%. So this part right here, this is the 40% students of this, right? So less than 6 math courses. It's 40%, but it's not 40% of the entire. It's only 40% of the remaining, which was the 25%, right? This 40% only represent the 40% of the 25%. So the percentage of the students who took less than 6 math courses is 40% of the 25%. So this is what we're trying to focus on, right? This is the question. Okay, so now let's do the calculation. But the concept right here, as I said, it's a little bit hard to absorb. But if you look at my ROVO example, that question is much easier, right? The reason is because ROVO is 8able. Anyways, so let's do the calculation. So let me turn 40% into a decimal. So 40% is 40 is a whole number. So originally you have a point, the decimal point is right here. Change percentage to decimal. I need to move the decimal point once, twice to the left. So that's my new decimal point, right? So I have 0.40, and let me add a 0 in front of the decimal point. I like to have the 0.40. The word of translates to multiply. I'm going to multiply. Likewise, 25% is just 0.25. As you can see, we can just 25 with a point, move the decimal point once, twice to the left. Okay, so for this, we're just going to multiply this out, and that will pretty much be our answer, right? To multiply this out, let me write it as 0.25 times 0.4. Notice the 0 after the 4 doesn't matter, so I can just write the 0.4 right here. And then I put 0.25 on the top is because it has more digits. It's somewhat easier. Okay? Okay, just do the work. I have 4 times 5, which is 20. Write down the 0, carry over the 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. So it's 10. Okay, so right here I have 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places for the first number, and then for the second number I have 1 decimal place. So total 2 plus 1, I need 3. I need 3 decimal places for my answer. So I need 3 decimal places. Decimal places. And right here I have 1, 0, 0. We start off all the way to the right, and then I'm going to move this decimal point once, twice, 3 times, and that will be where the decimal point is. So let me have a 0 in front of that. 0.40 or 0.4 times 0.25 is 0.100. And if you take a look at the answer choices, we want percent. This is decimal, so we need to change this decimal back into a percentage. What we can do is take this decimal point, move it once, move it twice to the right, and I'm going to put my new decimal point right there. And then this is going to give me 10, right? This is just 1 0, which is just 10. 0.0, but it doesn't really matter after the decimal point. So this is just saying 10, and now we can add a percentage because we moved the decimal point once, twice to the right. We put a percentage right there, and there we have it. That's question number 12. Answer choice is B. Correct answer is B.